Are you following business advice that's actually taking you further away from the reason you started this in the first place? Well, there's a very strong chance that you are. You see, according to the Cox Business Survey, when asked why they started, 76% of entrepreneurs said that it was for freedom of time. Yet only 13% say they've actually achieved it. And over the past decade, I've noticed that it's because of three critical areas that are not worked on enough that leaves you feeling like you're trapped inside of your business. But when you fix them, you get results like these.
Scaling the business, the ability to lead the team, and also manage my business and personal life a lot better. There's no fucking way that I'd have been able to do that without the systems that you helped me to implement.
So now I'm going to show you the exact system that both myself and my clients use to unlock total business freedom. I'm going to show you what's likely holding you back from achieving it yourself, and then how you can use this system in your own business and life. So to begin, we need to first establish what total business freedom is, and I've found that there's 5 ways that we can clearly define it. Number 1, a business that's built from the very start with freedom in mind. So it's designed with that intention and not by default. Number 2, being free from the day-to-day operations, meaning that you're not the bottleneck in your own business and you're not the person that is relied upon to make sure the business is continuously moving forward. In short, the business is able to run without you on a day-to-day basis. Number 3, you have systems that scale, meaning that you don't need to rely on hustle or heroic efforts in order to take yourself and your business to new heights. Now, this is making sure that everything inside of your business has a place. You have systems, you have processes, you've got rhythms, and they all serve a purpose. And that purpose is making sure the business runs without you. Number 4, you lead through clarity and not control. You're not managing every detail. You're the one who sets the culture, the vision, and monitors the performance. Your team know the mission, and this empowers them to execute without you having to micromanage them. And then number 5, you've built a business that aligns with your life vision. And then every decision you make is filtered through your eyes and what you deem success to be. You're not building for some algorithm or the approval of your peers. You're building something that creates impact in the market and freedom for your life. So now that we've established what total business freedom is, let's have a look at what's likely holding you back from achieving it. Well, after working with entrepreneurs for nearly over a decade now, I've noticed a pattern that keeps us stuck in the entrepreneurial trap time and time again. And it's this little thing called mimetic desire. And here's how to best explain it. I want you to think back to your time at school. If you think hard enough, there was always that one item, maybe it was a hat, a jacket, a pair of shoes, that suddenly everybody started wearing. For me, it was Parker jackets and those Gola bags that went over your shoulder. Now, you didn't care about those items before, but the more you saw it, the more it started to seem important. And then eventually you convinced yourself that you wanted one too. Not because you really liked it, but because everyone else did. And that made you want what it represented: belonging, approval, and status. That is mimetic desire. It's often not about the thing. It's about seeing other people want the thing, and then you end up borrowing their desire without even realizing it. Now, the trouble is, I see many entrepreneurs who start out by wanting freedom, but after spending probably too much time online and surrounded by other entrepreneurs and business gurus, they end up chasing other things like revenue, fancy funnels, and a shit ton of vanity metrics. And just like that hideous Gola bag that I bought at school, not because they really value them, but because everyone else seems to. Now, here's the actual problem. After a while, you inevitably end up forgetting why you got into this game in the first place. And then you end up playing someone else's game. And before long, you find yourself building your business by default and not by design, solving the wrong problems, saying yes to things that are taking you further away from the initial goal. And before you know it, you're stuck in essentially a high-paying job that requires you to work 24/7 that you can never leave. Now, before we go on, if it makes you feel any better, this was me as well. I spent the whole of 2023 and 2024 in that spot. I ended up doing exactly what I just spoke about there, where I was creating my business by default and not by design, which is exactly why at the end of 2024, I shut it all down. I shut it down and committed to rebuilding with my 5 core drivers at the forefront. Those are freedom, fun, impact, growth, and connection. And I help other entrepreneurs to do the same, because I know what it's like to constantly feel exhausted, uninspired, and get caught into the day-to-day chaos of your business. I know what kind of a knock-on impact that has on other areas of your life, such as your health, your social life, your family life, all of the areas that we say mean the most to us. I also know how it feels to wake up every day and deep down know that you're misaligned to what it is that you're building. You keep telling yourself that once I finish this next project, it's all gonna be sweet. But you know that you've played that scenario out time and time again, and it's never been sweet. Nothing ever changes. Eventually, there comes a point where enough is enough. And that's what led to me creating the Escape and Scale operating system. This is the system that allows you to build total business freedom, so you can start scaling your life and not just your business. And if that sounds appealing to you, then just know that I talk about this stuff every single day on my daily emails. Every day I go through what's working with myself and my clients, what isn't, and tactical advice that you can implement straight away alongside over 1,000 other entrepreneurs that receive these daily emails. So if you want access to that, and you'll also get access to a downloadable version of the Escape and Scale operating system, then all you need to do is just hit that link in the description. So back to the system. We've designed this around what we call the critical three. These are three areas that, when optimized, drive the result that I believe most business owners got into business for in the first place. And that is to create impact in the marketplace and have total autonomy and freedom in their own life. So let me show you the three phases of the Escape and Scale operating system. Phase one is developing your self-leadership system. Now the reason we start here is because we follow and subscribe to the fundamental truth that your business cannot outgrow the leader that's running it. Let me quickly run you through the 4 accelerators that make up the self-leadership system. First, we have vision alignment. This is where you clarify your personal mission and your leadership identity so that your business is in alignment with your life. Because I cannot tell you how many business owners I speak to on a weekly basis who their life and their business are just not congruent in the slightest. And then they wonder why they end up resenting it. So that's the first place we look. Next, we focus on time and energy systems. This is where we build elite routines and energy rhythms, because I believe that business owners are just mental athletes. So we need to treat you accordingly. This helps you to operate at a high level of focus and intensity without you actually burning out, which so many people do. Next up, we have pressure and performance protocols. This is where we look at mastering emotional regulation, managing our stress, the ability to make decisions under pressure, because there's a saying that I love, which is pressure makes diamonds or it bursts pipes. And we want to make sure that it does the former. And we make that happen by using mental models, adopting practices like end-of-week reviews, journaling, and adopting high-stakes performance tools that are often used in the military. And then finally, we start dialing in on your personal standards. This is where we create identity-driven behaviors and your own personal non-negotiables so that we can start rewiring your internal operating system and ensure that you're showing up every single day as the leader that both your business and your life needs. So that is your self-leadership system. Phase 2 is installing the business freedom blueprint. Now this is where we focus on strategically designing a business that lives, grows, and operates without your every involvement. This is also made up of 4 accelerators. So let me take you through them. First, we have business design. This is where we use our signature accountability and ownership map to figure out how your business needs to be designed in order to hit your one strategic 12-month goal. This is where tons of breakthroughs happen for my clients because they've started to notice a couple of things. One, they don't have one singular clear goal put in place for their business that everyone is working towards. Or 2, if they do, the business is not usually designed in an efficient and effective way to achieve that goal without fully relying on the founder. Next, we focus on development and training. Here is where you create handover systems and training frameworks that transfer ownership and build independence into each role. The third accelerator is focusing on scalable systems. This is where you start to optimize things like your client journey, your sales processes, your marketing processes, and all things back-end. So the performance of your company is consistent without you needing to be present. And this is where I help my clients to create their own internal signature playbook. The 4th accelerator inside of the business freedom blueprint is decision-making frameworks. This is where you equip and empower your team to actually have the ability to start making decisions so they don't have to rely on you for every single decision that needs to be made. Otherwise, you're going to continuously keep getting sucked back into the business. But we're not just going to hand over the reins. They need to have structures and formats and decision-making frameworks that they can use so they know if X, I need to do Y. This means that you don't have to sign every single micro decision off on a day-to-day basis, and you can set up a leadership rhythm where you do it on a cadence that you feel is appropriate. And then finally, we have phase 3. This is where we use the team ownership method to create a high trust, high performance culture that doesn't need micromanagement. The first accelerator that we tap into, and is secretly one of my favorites, is the mission and values activation. This is where you start crafting your business's meaningful vision and your behavioral values that you're gonna operate by every single day. This process alone creates buy-in from the team, it gives them purpose every day when they show up to work, and it also starts to breed this culture that is going to be present when you're not there. Because again, I speak to so many business owners that get frustrated that they feel like it's almost a me versus them situation with their team, where their team are showing up, and it's almost like they just treat it as a job. They show up, they sign in, and they just get paid. But it's mainly because there's no vision present within the business for them to even get excited about. So why should they treat this any more than just a job? You need to give them a reason as to why they shouldn't just view this as a job and why they should view this as a mission that they're all working towards. And that is on you as the leader and the owner to establish. Because remember, no one thinks like you. If they did, they would likely have their own business. So we need to remember that. Next, we have your leadership rhythms. I cannot stress how important these are and how often they are either neglected or not done properly. This is where you create and implement your own leadership rhythm for weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual reviewing processes. It's where you maintain standards, you celebrate wins, and you sustain accountability and ownership on a week-to-week basis. It's also so your team can know that you give a shit about them, which is important if you want them to run the machine when you're not there. And then finally, we have the motivation and influence accelerator, which is where you finally start to truly understand how to lead, motivate, and influence your team so they're intrinsically driven to perform without you having to be around or be a martyr. Because if your team only perform when you're there, you're going to be a ball of anxiety every time you're not. Now, the beauty of working on these three areas simultaneously is that they drive the following results: sovereign leadership, a high-performing team, and a self-scaling business, which when combined create total business freedom. So that is my first time of fully explaining the blueprint that both myself and my clients are using to help us to create these freedom-first businesses that also drive a tremendous amount of impact in the marketplace without us feeling like we're a prisoner to them. And if you're still curious to find out more about me and why I walked away from 2 successful businesses that I built, then just click this video here and it will tell you more.